What is cracking, fluent crew? I'm back with another video. It's been a little bit of time, but I wanted to at least give you something so you didn't forget about me. I mean, I know recently on my live streams when I'm gaming, I finally got a little bit more of my setup fixed, so now you can see me when I'm playing my game. But it is what it is. So I'm back with another video, and I just had to let y'all give y'all another little taste of relationship advice. So today, I was inspired. This topic was inspired by a conversation that I had with a friend, and it's gonna be standards versus type. So, and some people may be like, "What? What is the difference? Like, how can you really say there's a difference between the two?" Well, when you actually think about how people use them, there is a difference. Um, standards, by the way we quantify standards, usually hear people say something like, well, I want somebody with a good job. When they think of standards, it's something, personality, something that they have. It's something that they possess, something that they have or can acquire. Whereas uh, a type is something that you're born with, something that is a part of you, an attribute, something that you know you're born with, but you maintain, of course. So, like a person with long hair, or a person with a certain eye color. So that's really the difference between the two. Again, standards. Somebody who wants, like, you want a person with a good job, a car, a house, so on and so forth. Someone who is capable of taking care of themselves, which shows that they can take care of you, or help you build toward your goal as well. Someone who's focused and that kind of thing. These are all standards. These are all how people quantify standards. You don't want anything less than that. That is your go to standard. In regards to types, however, it's usually, oh, I want a female who's about my height, maybe shorter, um, can cook, share the responsibilities, give me that ego boost I need to do what I need to do, uh, all that kind of thing. Or from a woman's perspective, a guy who is tall, good looking, guy keeps himself looking nice and neat and clean or whatnot. You know, keep one thing that women like that is a type is a funny dude because women love to laugh. So another type is a funny guy. But in any sense, yeah, that's really the difference between the two. So if that's where I'm coming from with this conversation, and that's how the conversation that inspired this video went. As I mentioned in a previous video, I can't remember which one it is. I have to look, and if I do remember, then I'll put a annotation, so that you can go back and check out that video. But whether it's a standard or a type, you still want to be reasonable about either one, because you don't want to have a type or a standard that makes no sense based on who you are. Let that sink in. You don't want to have a standard or a type that doesn't go or mesh well with who you are. You still have to take yourself into consideration, what you bring to the table, before you start sitting here and making out types and standards that make no sense. Like for me, my top standard, my highest possible standard is being a Christian. You got, like, that was number one priority. Can't go without it. Not going to go without it. And I ended up with it. So that's good. Uh, like I said, types. I really didn't have a type. I just wanted someone who was kind-hearted, which does fit into the type category because it's something. It's a personality trait about the person. They're kind-hearted. It's not something you. I mean, you can obtain it, so it can kind of be. It's one of those gray area joints, but it's more leaning toward a type. Again, you have to make sure that you have to make sure that you're reasonable about where you have your standards and your types, because you want to actually make sense with who you are. The guy should be taller than the woman. Not for any intimidation factor, but it's more of a sign of protection. And one thing you would definitely understand, come to realize, is that size difference, height difference, even if you're the same height, that's not really that big a problem. But women prefer taller men because it gives them a sense of security. And that's the reason why they have that type. And all women do. Not all women achieve getting a man that has that type. But hey, but women love a tall guy who makes them laugh. Two types that pretty much all women that I've ever run across have, or have described to me that they like. And two types that guys have are, well, I'm a guy. Even I don't really think us guys have two specific ones, because we realize that women come in so many different shapes and sizes. But usually, a guys are going to be really perverted, so I'm not really going to go into that. I'm just being real. Or shall I say, two common types are for a man are going to be body related.
Oh, okay.
I would even say, don't worry so much about your types, because your standards are more important. Remember not to have your types or your standards too high or too low, but but be very self-aware of who you are in yourself, so that you can set your standards and even your type at a reasonable and sensible level for what you can obtain, what you want, what makes sense. But if you have any suggestions, opinions about this conversation, you find it interesting, definitely feel free to comment down in the section below. Let me know what your thoughts are. Hit me up, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.